Hello, my beautiful friends. Today's video is going to be about the new moon at 9 degrees of Capricorn and Chiron moving direct. It is a time of tapping into what you uniquely were born here to do. Welcome, my beautiful friends. And for those of you who are new, please don't forget to hit that subscribe button and give me a thumbs up if this works for you, and the notification button. And please feel free to make comments. I promise once we get past this holiday season that I will be promptly looking and responding to comments, but they are greatly appreciated. Okay, so a new moon, new beginnings. It's where the sun and moon are at the same degree at 9 degrees of Capricorn. So Capricorns, Cancers, Libras, and Aries, this full moon will be affecting you. And to some degree in challenging ways. It's really a motivation for us to move into the new creative projects, or the new structures, new leadership, and many different manifestations. But also on this day, the new moon at 9 degrees on December 30th, which is Monday, this Chiron, the wounded healer, the creative, cultural creative and alternative, outside of the box solution kind of maverick energy, goes direct at 19 degrees of Aries. And at 19 degrees for a good part, I've mentioned this before, of the baby boomer generation, that latter third, those of us born in the 50s, late 40s and 50s, this is going to be another kind of cosmic kick in the pants to move into bringing our wisdom, bringing our healing modalities out into the world. Even if we're working in a corporate environment, it is a time of tapping into what you uniquely were born here to do. This new moon with the new beginnings is also a time where many of the planets have gone direct. So they're moving forward. Pluto is fully into Aquarius for the next 20 years. Neptune went direct. He's still in the late degrees of Pisces. By the spring, he will dip his toes into the first degrees of Aries. So that'll be quite exciting. Saturn moved forward mid-November. And actually on the same day that Pluto went into Aquarius for the next 20 years. So that was a powerful day, about 2 weeks after the election. Saturn is our karmic teacher. He offers structures, and he actually rules this new moon. He rules the sign of Capricorn. And so we're starting to see, things slow down and stop. Governments and, crisis really around the planet, but pulling back to, make changes. And it's really, really uncomfortable for many of us that like to know what's going on. Particularly in the U.S., our government has pulled back and it's gone very silent. And so I would tell you, again, remind you that there is a lot happening on the planet, behind the scenes, between governments, between leadership, and between the U.S. and its allies. There is a lot of discussion happening on how to manage what has just happened, particularly in our election. This new moon chart is really offering, because most of these planets move pretty slowly. It's only the personal planets, the sun, moon, Mercury, Venus, and to some degree Mars. Mars is a little bit, it takes him 2 years to go around the 12 signs. So, but the personal planets will change signs every month, or pretty close to every month. They all have their retrograde times except for the sun and moon. But they move pretty quickly. So they represent in our charts, in our personal charts, as well as the global collective charts. They represent kind of more personal feelings in the moment, actions in the moment, triggers in the moment. So most of these planets have been moving very, very slowly. So the crisis configurations, like the Mars opposing Pluto, is actually orb of influence over like 4 or 5 months, about 5 months. And we're approaching, with Mars retrograde at this time, we're just 1 degree from an exact opposition to Pluto, the planet of death, rebirth, major transformation in Aquarius. So Mars in Leo, and it's a very prideful, lioness type Mars, which is about taking action. Opposing Pluto is oftentimes a trigger for global conflict, but it also works on us individually, and we can feel this is a really important time to pay attention and notice what's going on in your body, because it can be we're feeling the conflict that's going on globally. It can also be someone or something triggers just this outrage in us or anger in us. And at times it can feel like, wow, that was a big reaction. What was that about? And it might not be your issue or your energy at all. It may be you're picking it up from someone around you. So this is a time of, very intense, trying to figure out what is the right use of power. Pluto is usually, the plutocracy, the oligarchs, the leadership. And, Mars in Leo says, wait a minute, what about us? It's not okay for a few people to take everything. It's not okay for our governments to be protecting the rich and the corporations and promoting war because it's profitable. And we, like I've said in previous videos, we are not, as a country, the good guys in the white hats. This is the first time there's been potentially election interference from outside countries to our own country, because we have also interfered in other countries, particularly South America. And anyway, I won't go into a lot of detail there as well. So this is kind of a karmic time for the US, because we are being challenged. Our power and our leadership in the world is truly being challenged. And so are we going to be willing to share power globally? Are we going to be willing to negotiate fairly globally? Are we going to continue our own practices? And if we are going to heal a lot of what's going on, or to stabilize a lot of what's going on, our leadership truly needs to be in a higher energy of not what's best for the corporations, but what's best for the peoples of the world and the earth itself. Because we're really close to our government losing power. There's been a slow rolling coup for at least 80 years, and I'm not sure it's not continuing today. So it's I do believe the truth is going to come out. It could be coming out a little bit at this time with this new moon at 9 degrees of Capricorn. Mercury is direct. And Mercury in Sag, there are those who want to tell the truth and the whistleblowers and those to bring the truth out to the people. Saturn in Pisces, our leadership, potentially even President Biden, are kind of like, I don't know if we can do that, if that's the right thing to do. That could create more chaos. They're weighing all the options and responsibilities that we have as citizenry have no clue about. We do not know what's in all of our international agreements, etc. So, it's like we're just not privy to that information. And so there's a lot of discussion. Mercury opposes Jupiter, the cosmic Santa. So the Jupiter rules the sign of Sagittarius that Mercury is in. And so there is a challenge going on as well between, how much information and what is the truth. What is the truth? For those that have, particularly Russia and other countries, and I would have to say our country too, but I don't know, that have learned really the dark arts of how to manipulate and the internet and computers and the information, propaganda is out there. It has been out there for, since the 60s. So what's the truth? And so it's important for each of us to kind of pull back and try to figure out, not only detaching from all of the drama that's going on, but to come to a sense of what is our own truth. There is no doubt, the sooner that each and every one of us can accept that the old order is breaking down, it will give us freedom to create the new. Individually, we can create that new within ourselves, for ourselves, within our families and communities. So there's gifts. There's always a dark side to these energies. There's always the ultimate high side to the energy. Since we don't have the power, literally, unless you're going to go out and go to Washington, D.C. and start, pounding on doors and marching and protest and those sorts of things. Just for the majority of us, we're struggling to keep a roof over our heads and to feed our children and our families and support those that we love. So it's like the best way for us to use the conflictual energies is to come back into self and try to figure out, okay, who am I and what's important to me, and what can I do? Looking and assessing the situation and kind of becoming a bit more conservative, conserving our resources, whether it's financial, energetic. What I see with a lot of the asteroids and there's lots of little T-squares and in this chart, almost everything, it's a pretty much a splash pattern. So everything is going to be trining or sextiling, which are positives, or they're going to be conflictual, squares and oppositions. And most of those energies are what's going on in the world. So the way to not be drained and caught up in that is not to be following the news, or not to be invested or committed to anything that we're hearing, but to really start to pull back, be quiet, meditate, take long walks, take care of ourselves in a myriad of ways, and get out of fear. So let's talk about New Year's Eve. That's going to be the 31st, the next day. And I would just say that the energies, all of the niggly, challenging energies are going to be pretty much the same as what we've been experiencing. But there's some new energy of compatibility, of relief, of the ability to move forward, to have some new insights, to have some clarity, particularly after that new moon. So we may start to see and feel a little bit lighter, and it can be as simple as heck with it. It's like, I want to go out and party, whatever that means to you. So it could be just getting together with wonderful friends and visioning. I think a great topic as we look at New Year's Eve is, what do we want to create in 2025? It's going to be a tremendous year of change, as at least 5 of the planets, the outer planets, change signs. And so it's going to be a very, very powerful time coming up. And then I think the last of them change in 2026. So, we are moving into what I have in the past talked about fast-paced energies as like the e-ticket ride on the Disneyland roller coaster. But, we're like so far past that. It's more like the rocket ship, ride to the moon or to Mars, or Yeah, things are going to be changing very, very quickly. But there should be more grace and ease with that change after we move through March, April, and May. A lot of things are going to start to stabilize, even though that's what does stable mean anymore? That's kind of up for debate. But for New Year's Eve, it'll be a great time of kind of letting go of the fears and the worries and just go play and or meditate. It's like get out in nature. Truly get out in nature. Go sit by a beach. I mean, if you could go to a warm beach and enjoy a sunset, that would be amazing. Our beach is kind of cold on the west coast of the US. It can be, for those kinds of situations, get all bundled up and have your hot chocolate or your, hot spiced wine, whatever sounds good. And if there is a sunset to be had, sit on the deck with a fire pit and watch your sunset. From the perspective of there's opportunities for new energies. Mars is still retrograding in the sign of Leo. He's in the last degree of Leo, but he exactly trines, which is a gift, the North Node. And the North Node is dharmically what we're here to do. And the North Node is conjunct Neptune by 3 degrees. So it's a matter of 4 degrees. Basically, close enough to have an influence. And Neptune is dream big. If we're going to be dreaming and asking for what we want to create on the planet, for ourselves individually, for our families, dream big. The moon and Pluto are both, Pluto is kind of wider orb of influence, but the moon trines the planet Uranus. The moon in Capricorn, still in Capricorn at the time of the New Year's Eve. The moon is our emotional nature. It's our sense of security. It's our sense of stability in the sign of Capricorn. So this could be a structure, an event, a celebration where we actually can go out and get into some really good trouble, have some fun doing it. There can be flashes of brilliance of, this is something I haven't thought of or might want to try out. Connecting with friends, connecting with family. These are all our opportunities to expand upon in our New Year's resolutions. And then Mercury, the communication planet, is also trining Chiron, Hygeia, and Eris. So Chiron is that wounded healer in the sign of Aries, new beginnings. Hygeia is the medical intuitive, psychic surgeon. Open your psychic avenues, just open to psychic abilities for some. And Eris is a little bit, she's the sister of Mars. And so she's kind of, I called her a bomb thrower, but it's more of a disruptor. She's not violence. She's more of a disruptor, but she is fighting for balance and inclusion and taking care of everyone, inclusion of everyone in whatever is going on in the sign of Aries. So it's like we need to look at new ways of doing all of that and trust our intuition. It's like if we've not been inclusive, maybe catching ourselves to where, okay, who do I need to invite to, that I haven't connected with in a long time? It could be as simple as that. So those are the energies that are really, really powerful. The south node of the moon in Libra is also trining the planet Pluto, exact. So Pluto is being invited by the south node to remember that in all things, those that are in power need to be creating balance. It's time to stop this extreme out of balance kinds of abuses of power, money, and sexuality. Pluto is now being challenged to create some new ways of seeing and doing and being able to fight for those that are excluded, that have been left behind, at least in the terms of, definitely, how do we deal with these populations And that's those that are in war-torn countries. That's those of us that are those that are homeless, our veterans who fought in wars, living on the streets. There is so much that's out of balance. There's so much need on the whole planet, including Mother Earth herself. These are times of really looking at what's important, what do we need to do to move things forward, and go from there. So thank you for listening. And if this works for you, please feel free to share. Leave comments in the comment section. I will answer them. I really and truly appreciate you. I wish the best for all of us. And we need to, as a humanity, and those of us that are not in power positions in the world, to say a lot of prayers, to send healing energy to those that are in power in our governments, negotiating for peace and negotiating from a place of heart and of great courage, because things have to change. They absolutely have to change. And the astrological energies absolutely support that kind of change. Okay, so I'll see you in about a week, and I really appreciate, thank you. I love you all. Take care of yourselves. Go out and have some good fun.